The John Fredericks Show. Joining us now, my goodness, I wanted so bad to have this man on and be able to say, joining us now, Congressman-elect Dan Bongino. Dan, you came so close, but the 6th District in Maryland, you were ahead the whole night, and then it turned the other way, but it's still razor thin. Can you still win this thing, Dan?
We can. It would be tough, and I don't like to spin anybody's wheels, as I've said before, but it is possible. We're at an absentee count. We're down right now about 2,000 votes, 9,000 absentees, about 6,000 left to count. It depends. It would be really tough, but there is a shot, yes.
So you came into this race against Delaney. He's an incumbent, very well funded. You came in as a huge underdog. Nobody thought you had a prayer. You almost pulled it out. What happened?
Right, and remember I was on your show a week before Election Day, and you were the one of maybe 2 radio people, or media people in general, in the entire country that said, folks, pay attention to this race. Something's going on here. So to your listeners, I give you credit for hearing me out when I made the case. Hey, John, this is, and I gave you metrics. I said, here's the money we're getting, the volunteers, here's what we're hearing at the doors. And John, no one else wanted to hear it but you. And there was one other radio host who said, you know what, I think you're right. I think there is something going on over there. It was a tough one. And I just was really upset the way the local media here in Maryland, especially the Washington Post, the local section. You know, I know everybody goes on and on whining about the media. I get it. But, you know, we made a metrics-based, numbers-based case why this was one of the most competitive congressional races in the country, and no one would cover it. And, I'm not going to say they cost us the election, John. You know, listen, everybody can whine about all that stuff. But there's no doubt in my mind that it definitely impacted the outcome. We were within a whisker of taking this thing.
There was no media coverage on that at all. I got your metrics. Look, people that listen to me know that I'm not a cheerleader. I mean, I call it like it is. If I don't think the Republican can win, I'm going to say that and
yes,
go on to something else. And that's just me, and other people do it differently. But I got your stuff, and I went through it, and I'm like, this guy's going to win this race. And that's why we started to pay attention to it. But you got a lot of media outlets. Their analysis is so based on their philosophical positions, they can't see the forest for the trees. That's really what goes on here.
Right, and the problem is when you have a voice like you do, there's a responsibility that comes with it. It's like Spider-Man movies. With great power comes great responsibility. You have a responsibility to, well, not in editorializing so much, but at a minimum in the MSM mainstream media, to play it fair and give people the information and at least let them make a decision for themselves. When you ignore 700,000 residents of a congressional district in a district that leans Democrat but is competitive, was a first-term incumbent. Yeah, he was rich. We knew it. The guy had a lot of money. But, money doesn't always buy races. And you ignore it, and you don't give people even basic information. You pretend there's nothing going on. I mean, I had people even up to, despite us spending about $2 million and my opponent spending looked like 4 to 5, I still had people on Election Day saying, hey, I was shocked to see your name on the ballot. I mean, that's not my fault. We did everything we could. We spent all the money we could. That's the media's fault for not telling them, hey, guys, you got a competitive race here. Give a look at these 2 guys.
Right, and that's really all they had to do. You weren't looking for them to get on your bandwagon and just simply say, look, this isn't a competitive thing, and give it a look. Now, anyway, Dan, you ran a fabulous race. You still got a shot, so we're gonna wait on it. Let's go to Maryland governor's race. Larry Hogan, nobody saw that coming, even me.
John, I have to tell you, I guess the politically correct answer here is, yeah, I saw it coming. I didn't either. I knew Larry was going to run a competitive race. I'll tell you, I knew it in Montgomery County, which is a lot of your listeners know is a very left-leaning D.C. suburb county in Maryland, and it's also the biggest county. Most of the Democratic votes come from Montgomery County. I knew Anthony Brown was in a lot of trouble, and we were knocking on doors. And I ran a pretty unabashedly conservative race, but Larry ran a very moderate, I think, sensible tax and economy-focused race. People were telling me left and right, Democrats, even Democrat 12s, which in our voter system, grading system, is like the most loyal Democrat. Mm-hmm. I had tons of them telling me, no, I'm all about Larry Hogan. And I said to my wife, there's something going on here with Hogan. But the numbers are so difficult in Maryland that I said, hey, it's the chance is there, but it's really low. When the numbers started rolling in on game day, John, I mean, it was a rout. Larry won by just unbelievable margins. There were counties he got 80% of the vote. Here's one quick one. Carroll County in Maryland, which is pretty densely populated for Maryland. He won 55,000 votes to 8,000. I mean, that is, you've been in politics a while, that is a catastrophic rout for any politician on the losing side. And he racked up such heavy numbers in the surrounding counties of the D.C. suburbs that there was just no way for Anthony Brown to win. I mean, I think Brown's pretty much done in politics after this.
Oh, he's got to be done. His defeat was so bad. And, you know, we were talking about the narrative, and I was saying earlier how really the mainstream media, once again, has this whole thing wrong, talking about this was anti-incumbent wave, and there was angry men stomping their feet, all this nonsense. And, you know, my thing is the Republicans won these races and swept the country because people want to stop Obama. They want to stop his policies. They want to stop these executive orders. They want to get off the train. That's what happened. Now, you look at the states where Obama campaigned, because we've got other people saying, well, you know, if Obama just got out there and campaigned, okay, let's see where Obama went. He went to Maryland twice. How'd that work out?
Right. The first time he went to Maryland, John, people walked out. There was a headline to Drudge. Number two, Anthony Brown dropped 9 points. The beginning of the end of Anthony Brown was when Barack Obama showed up.
Yep.
And just to not totally throw him under the bus, Mrs. Clinton came in, Bill Clinton came in, and none of them could save Brown after that. But there's no question, I think, in anyone's mind that the beginning of the end for Anthony Brown was when he attached himself to Barack Obama, thinking that, you know, Maryland's not the liberal state people think it is. Remember, there are more locally elected Republicans in Maryland than there are Democrats. We have the big three, you know, Baltimore City, Prince George's County, Montgomery County, where most of the Democrat votes come from. But the Democrats around the state, in Baltimore County, Dundalk, that the Union Democrats, they are more than happy to vote Republican if they think the state's going downhill. They've done it before with Bob Ehrlich, and they did it again on Tuesday. I mean, what an unbelievable rout by Larry Hogan. It was almost 5 points he won by, John. That's
unbelievable.
Amazing.
And here's where else Obama went. He went to his home state, campaigned 2 times for incumbent Governor Pat Quinn, and got lambasted there.
That's right.
Hey, wherever the guy went.
How crazy is this, by the way? I didn't even note this to my Virginia friend, John, down there. How crazy is it that you guys now have a Democratic governor and we have a Republican one? Sorry, I'm battling a little cold.
That is crazy.
Are we going to have Virginians moving back to Maryland?
To Maryland, I know. We got one of the most partisan governors, by the way, in Terry McAuliffe. Very, you know, as you know, very, very, very partisan Democrat. So it is crazy. The third place Obama went was to Massachusetts. I mean, the 3 places that he went, they all got killed.
Yeah, Charlie Baker. And I'll tell you about, you know, Martha Coakley, who now has the distinction of losing 2 of the most winnable races in American history, Scott Brown and Charlie Baker in Massachusetts. I mean, I almost feel bad for her because it's not easy to lose in politics. But, hey, you know, she ran 2 just absolutely dreadful campaigns, and has really decimated the Democratic Party in Massachusetts.
Well, she's about done. There's no question about that. He's also the author of the book Inside the Bubble, and you can catch him on that. And he's also ran for just completed a race. But Dan, we're going to be following you, and look, win or lose, I encourage you, man. You got to stay involved. You got to stay involved because your time will come.
Hey, thanks, John. You've been a good friend to me, and I appreciate you giving us a shot.